Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tangeni once again. Today, I'm going to talk about supply and demand. So, first of all, what is supply and demand zone? What is supply and demand zone? Supply is aggressive selling. Aggressive selling. What is a demand zone? What is demand zone? Is aggressive buying. Supply aggressive selling, demand aggressive buying. So demand zones. What are demand zones? Demand zones are areas in the market or chart where the big boys, big banks, smart money are deeming the asset as cheap and as value buy to them, so they will often buy up and accumulate a ton of their assets at these demand zones. Knowing that these demand zones are where the big banks and smart money are watching and looking to take action, you want to follow that what the big money and smart money is doing and enter long buys where they are entering long, just to ride their momentum for explosive gains. So you have to enter where the big banks, smart money, big institutions are buying, are entering long for you to ride their momentum for explosive gains, guys. So you have to buy where they are buying. So you have to follow them. You have to follow in their footsteps for you to make money in this forex. If you trade against them, you lose. So what are supply zones? Supply zones are areas where the big boys and large banks and institutions are deeming their asset as expensive and as a price premium to them. So they will often offload and distribute a ton of their assets at these supply zones. So why should you trade supply and demand? Why should you trade supply and demand? Because we want to trade with the big boys, big banks, smart money. We trade supply and demand because we want to trade with the big boys, the big banks, and smart money, guys. We follow in their footsteps, guys. You cannot just place random trades. Otherwise, you will trade against these big boys, the big banks, smart money, guys. How to draw supply and demand zones. I will show you later in the video how to draw supply and demand zones. How to draw supply and demand zones. Let me just show you quickly how to draw supply and demand. So there are two types of supply and demand. We have continuation supply. We have continuation supply and demand. So this is a supply zone in the continuation. Price drop, base and drop. This base is a supply zone, guys. This base here, as you can see here in the continuation, this base here is a supply zone. You draw a supply zones where the market consolidate. You look at the consolidation where the market made a consolidation, and then you draw a rectangle drop. A rectangle box around that zone where there is space, where there is consolidation. And price in the continuation, price will break that area and come back to retest that zone. That is where we can draw supply zone. That's how we draw it. So you wait, you draw a box at the base, and you wait for price to retest this area. That's how we draw a continuation supply zone. Let's look at continuation demand, guys. As you can see, price made a rally and made a small consolidation around this area. It's what we call base. You wait for price to break out to make a rally and draw a rectangle box, which is called a demand zone, and we wait for price to come back at this area, at this zone, guys. That's how we draw a supply and demand zone in a continuation. So let's look at the reversal. Let's look at the reversal. Okay, this is what we call reversal supply and demand. Reversal supply and demand, guys. So as you can see here, price made a rally, drop, a base, and drop. After price dropped, you take a rectangle and then you draw a box around this area which made a base here, and then that is what we call supply zone. That is where our supply zone is. So you wait for price to come back at this zone. You wait for price to come back at this zone. That is where the big banks, guys, that is where the big banks enter for a sell here, as you can see here. That is reversal supply. Let's look at reversal demand. So you wait, as you can see here, price drop. Here price rally in a reversal supply, but here at the demand, price made a drop and made a base. Where there is consolidation, you draw a rectangle, red rectangle, and price break that area, made a rally, and then price came back to retest this zone, which is a demand zone, and shoot back up. That's how we draw supply and demand zones. That's how we draw them. So how to identify supply, and demand zone. How to identify or find supply and demand zones, guys. So how to identify and find supply and demand zones. Number one, at least 3 momentum candlestick in the row. guys. Three or more straight momentum candles, guys, not wicks, momentum candles in the row. We want to know that there are aggressive buyers and sellers. We want to know that there are aggressive buyers and sellers. Find the area or zone where the move started and mark that area with a rectangle, guys. With a rectangle at the high and low of a candlestick. At the high and the low of a candlestick, guys. As you can see here. Number 3, look for consolidation. Draw a rectangle box around the entire consolidation. Find an area or zone where there is more wicks. Wicks shows rejection in that area, level or zone. So supply zone or demand zone is not a specific area, guys. It's a zone. It's a zone. It does not mean that okay, this is a supply zone, guys. I mean supply area, guys. It means we don't look at a specific area, guys, just here. It is horizontal line. No, we draw a box, a rectangle box around that area. It's a zone. It's not a specific horizontal area, guys. It's a zone. It's a zone. So, okay, number 5, high time frame alignment, guys. So that supply or demand zone, it should align with the higher time frame like the H4, daily and weekly and monthly, guys. Hopefully I'm clear on that. I've done how to draw supply and demand zone. So I'm now back at how to trade supply and demand zone. How to trade supply and demand zones. First, mark that zone with a rectangle where the move started. As I said, wait for price to come back to that zone to retest it. Wait for price to come back to that zone to retest it. Wait for price to break out and retest. This one, wait for price to come back to that zone to retest it. Wait for price to break out and retest back into the consolidation and buy or sell. Wait for price to break out, retest back into the consolidation, wait for confirmation with candlestick patterns like bullish and bearish engulfing, shooting star, evening star, inside bar, etc. Guys, once you identify that zone, okay, you mark that area with a rectangle because it's a zone. You wait for price to come back to that zone to retest it. Wait for price to wait for confirmation with a candlestick pattern, guys, like bullish and bearish engulfing, shooting star, evening star, inside bar, etc. Let me show you how to trade it. Let me just show you how to trade. As you can see in the reversal here, okay, price, as you can see, price breakout. Price made a consolidation around this area, which is a supply. You wait for price to break, you wait for price to come here and sell here, guys. As you can see here, this is a good example. you sell here after waiting for candlestick patterns. And you look at a demand. You wait for price to break out of that consolidation. You wait for price to come back to retest that zone, which is a demand zone. And then you wait for candlestick pattern here around this area. And then you buy. You target this higher, which is here. So your stop loss should be below this zone here. As you can see here on gold. As you can see here on gold, price break out of this consolidation here. Price made a rally and price came back. I draw a box around here at this demand zone, which is here. There is an extreme demand or POI which is below here, but I bought at this area because I knew price will turn around this area. So you buy at this and you put a stop loss below this area. Candlestick pattern, which is here, which is a hammer. As you can see here, it's a hammer. And then you bought here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, comment down below on what do you think. What are your questions regarding what I said about this supply and demand zone? So here guys, as you can see here, price got out of this consolidation. It rised, it went up, came back at this zone. I draw a zone here guys. Let me go on the lower time frame just for you to see nicely guys. Price broke out of this consolidation guys. It went up. Price came back down to retest this zone in a downtrend, guys, which is internal structure. As you can see, high, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, and lower, low. So after price tapped into a demand zone, which I draw, which is a box here, price made a change of character, and from there, price shoot back up, up. As you can see here, the market is in an uptrend, guys. It's an uptrend, this one. As you can see here, it's an uptrend. As you can see here, this one is a extreme demand or POI. So I was waiting for maybe price will break this demand zone, which is a minor demand zone, to go to the extreme demand POI for it to go up. Then price, because I knew I only draw two zones, which is this one and this one. There is a minor one and a bigger one, extreme one. So I know price might react to this one, and then I take a buy after a change of character. Or I just buy aggressively, then I put my stop loss below this demand zone. Or I can go in here I can buy in a extreme demand zone. If price break this minor demand zone, which is here, guys. As you can see, guys, it's quite easy, man. It's quite easy to understand. So I'll post and I'll create another video regarding this supply and demand strategy in full details. That will be a long video just to explain more about supply and demand strategy, which is a good strategy, guys. So I'm trading smart money as of now, and I'm using also demand zone. I'm using supply and demand strategy. So like the video, comment down below, share the video so that it can help me with YouTube algorithm. Guys,